Hello, this is Hiro from Leathercraft School. Welcome to Day 13 of intermediate course. In the last lesson, I mentioned that we will start a new technique today, and to learn this new technique, there is one essential tool, the stitching awl. I consider this as one of the most important tools in leather work. It looks simple, just the basic awls for making a stitch holes in leather. You might be thinking, if it's just for making stitch holes, can I just use my pricking irons? But if you are aiming to proceed to intermediate and beyond, in my opinion, the stitching awl is an essential tool. So today, let's examine the advantages of using the stitching awls and how to choose the right one. Let's dive in. So why is the stitching awl so great? The simple answer is, it makes your hand stitch look way cleaner. Honestly, when you're working with thinner leather, there's not a huge difference between using a stitching awl and pricking irons. But let's say you're working on something like the outer edge of a wallet, where leather can be layered up to 4 pieces thick, around 12 ounce or 5mm. Here's what I mean. Here's the 12 ounce thick pieces. If I punch holes in these with pricking irons, you can see it leaves pretty big holes. That happens because the tips of the irons get wider the farther away from the tip of the irons, meaning that the deeper you punch, the bigger the holes get. And no matter how skilled you are at hand stitch, you will not be able to make stitches cleaner with big stitch holes. This is where the stitching awl shines. Unlike pricking irons, the awl is thin. It doesn't get wider the farther away from the tip. That means you don't have to make oversized holes even when piercing thick leather. Here's how to use it. First, lightly mark your stitch holes using your pricking irons, just to get the pattern. Once you have those stitching shaped marks, you then pierce all the way through using the stitching awl. Even when piercing thick leather like this, you will notice the holes stay nice and small. Compare it side by side with the large holes from the pricking irons. The difference is obvious. Just show you how much this affects the look, I stitched both samples. The top is the large holes from the pricking irons, and the bottom is the small holes made by marking with the irons and the piercing with the stitching awl. What do you think? It might be a bit hard to tell, but you can see that the bottom stitch looks much cleaner and sharper. Now that you know the benefit, let's talk about which stitching awl to get. There are two main types: pre-sharpened stitching awls, which is ready to use out of box. Unsharpened stitching awls, you need to sharpen by yourself. The pre-sharpened ones are super convenient. You can use them straight away with very little effort to make clean holes. Unsharpened awls, on the other hand, don't work smoothly at first. You will need to apply a lot of force, and it's harder to control until you've sharpened them yourself. At first glance, you might think it's better to just get a pre-sharpened one. And yes, they are super convenient, but they also cost more because they take extra time to prepare. When I was starting, I got an unsharpened one and learned how to sharpen by myself, and it helped me to know how to resharpen the awl when it gets dull. That's why I recommend to beginners to get an unsharpened one. It's a great experience. But of course, if the budget isn't an issue and you want something that's ready to use, the pre-sharpened option is totally fine too. I've included links to the both type of stitching awls in the description below, so feel free to check them out. That's all for today. How was the lesson? Earlier, I recommended getting the unsharpened one because of the price and learning opportunity. But there's another reason too, one that I will explain in the next lesson. It's about shaping the blade to suit your style. So in the next lesson, we will dive into how to sharpen and shape the blade of your stitching awl. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please give me a like and subscribe for more leathercraft tips. See you in the next lesson. Bye.